All right, everybody, welcome to the Homeland Threat Brief. I am Aaron Asay. I'm the Executive Director of Jase Response, and I'm representing Jase Medical to give you the rundown on the threats that are facing the citizens of the United States, you, this week, and how things have changed. Now, we've been covering a lot of what the war with Iran how that has been affecting us, and quite honestly, I think things have ramped up. We talked last week about the importance of recognizing the homeland threat from terrorism and how those actors that are within the United States, those sleeper cells, so to speak, uh, are just waiting for that opportunity to strike. Well, that risk has actually gone up, I think, based on what we're seeing with the not just the intel, but also the fact that the government is finally admitting that they know that there are more than 18,000 known operatives in the United States with known associations to Al-Qaeda, to ISIS, and to Iran. So take that for what it's worth. I think that the risk has gone up. There's also the risk of lone wolf actors, and of course we've talked about proxies, but these guys that are getting self radicalized. And the reason I want to talk about these for just a second is because if you read the social media, to me, it seems like it's getting a lot more vitriolic, that people are getting a lot angrier, that we have these groups that are taking these opportunities to increase and foment as much of that anger as they possibly can. I mean, I'm seeing it amongst people that I follow, people that follow me, people that I thought were fairly level-headed. And I gotta be honest with you, it sort of breaks my heart. In a way, I kind of feel like perhaps the baseline human condition is to just be mean. And I know that comes from spending too much time on social media, but yeah, it's crazy to see the willingness that people have to just get into it online, and many of them red pill themselves on conspiracy theory. And the stuff that's going on right now, is it really going to affect us directly? Yeah, it probably will. There's a lot of changes happening right now, but is it going to, is this Armageddon? Is this like the end of the world as we know it? No, we're nowhere near there. And quite honestly, I think the war with Iran is not going to be protracted. I think it's going to actually end within a fairly legitimate timeline. And I feel pretty optimistic that the outcomes are going to probably be in the favor of the United States. Now, that said, there's some things we need to watch out for. It's time to be carrying medication or carrying first aid supplies with you every day. It's time to have a way to defend your family every day. It is time to have a plan that if something does happen in your community, that you know how to get back to your home and how to get back to your family. Now, whatever that plan is, in the military, we call it your PACE plan, right? What is your primary way of communicating? What is your alternative way of communicating with your family? What's the contingency in case those two things don't work? And what is the emergency way that you guys are finally going to communicate and get back together? If you've got small children, even more important. I want you to think about, what if your community shuts down and you need to go to the school and get your children, collect them and bring them home? Or, what if you're stuck away from home, you're at work, or, you went out for the night and something happened and now you can't get back home, and your children are there. And then there's, infinite other scenarios that we could talk about, but the principles are the same. So have a plan to communicate, have a plan to get home. All this talk about bug out and get away from, that's, for most people, that's just not going to work. You need to plan on sheltering in your home, staying where you have all of your supplies, and make that place your place of refuge. So have extra food, have extra water, have your medications, have the fuel that you need to be able to cook your food. Just go through my list really quick. Anything else? Oh, the cyber risk has gone up. We know we've already seen it with the airports. We've seen it with healthcare. We've seen it with um, in the government. There have been some massive attacks in the last week on critical infrastructure related to the internet and our cyber information. So you need to do whatever you have to do to lock down your information. So make sure that you've got good passwords, that you're changing your passwords often, that you're not using the same password for every domain, for every platform that you happen to be on, because if one gets compromised, that same one could then be used to get into other platforms. Recognize that much of the information about you is probably already out there, but there's a lot that you can do to make sure that it's not accessible. That's by keeping your information in various different locations. Your your risk will go down if you just take some of these, more simple precautions. Weather hasn't really been an issue this last week. In fact, what we've been seeing with the all the flights being canceled, I don't know what that means. I have a feeling that it has something to do with maybe cyber attacks, or maybe the fact that we've defunded TSA and there's just not enough people to do the work that needs to maintain our security. But for some reason, a bunch of flights have been canceled in the last 24, 48 hours, many of them grounded. And I think that just is a clue that travel arrangements, if you're making them, you might want to reconsider, where you're going. You also want to plan for a lot of extra time and make sure you have a plan when you're traveling. One of my personal plans that I always use when I travel is I never go places where I'm only relying on Uber as my transportation, even if I'm only traveling short places, especially when I'm on business, but really all the time. I rent a car and I make sure that I have downloaded on it to my phone, as well as one other location, all the maps that I would need to go from wherever I am, if I'm continental United States, wherever I am, to get back home. So, and I keep a case of water in the car. I always have my little go bag with me when I travel, and if I need something specifically, I get it when I land. Whether that's just making sure I have a knife, because I always travel carry-on only, just go get a cheap something from Walmart, so that I always have those particular things, my little 10 essentials, with me all the time. And then I know that I can get home. So that's my update for this week, March 20th, 2026. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name's Aaron Asay. I'm the Executive Director of Jase Response. Go to our website, check out what we do. We educate, we respond, we take medications out to disaster and crisis areas worldwide. We could really use your help, so please do what you can to help us. If you can, donate or just spread the word for what we're doing. And also, if you need survival supplies, especially medications, go to Jase Medical and check out what Jase Medical is offering to families, individuals, to make sure that you have your medical preps in line. So thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend. I'll talk to you next week.